Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will call the Common Council meeting to order, and I will ask our clerk to call the roll to determine a quorum.
Alderperson Haas.
Here.
Keene. Here. Ranke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Stefanski.
Here.
Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Excused.
9 present, 1 excused.
Here.
Did we forget our
Oh, I'm
council
sorry,
president?
Isaac. I'm sorry.
You're just assumed.
Yes.
Please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderman Haas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move on to item D on our agendas. We have 2 public hearings this evening, and I will ask the clerk to read public hearing number 1.
Resolution to confirm and adopt the report of the city engineer containing the schedule of proposed assessments for improvement of the north-south alley between 113th and Woolmer Road, Ohio Street to Wildwood Lane, and north-south and east-west alley between South 74th to South 75th, West Lapham to West National by removal and reconstruction of concrete alley pavement.
Thank you. Mr. Daniels, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor Devine. Okay, this is the public hearing for 2 alleys. Here's the first one, as was just read, from 74th to 75th, north of National. This alley was originally built in 1927, so that concrete that is still there is 95 years old. It was resurfaced in 1981, so that asphalt the resurfacing is actually 41 years old, so it's a very, very old alley. Here are some pictures. It's in horrible condition. This is no longer something that we can maintain. The next alley is out on the west end, south or west of Woolmer, south of Ohio, in the Morgan Grove area. This alley was built in 1964, so it's 58 years old. It has not been resurfaced, but it's too far gone. We really need to start over with a new concrete alley. This cannot be salvaged, so severe pavement deterioration. This is what the finished product will look like. Brand new concrete alley in both cases. Here are the costs of the project. Got a little problem here, I see. Paving costs, $77,000. Storm sewer work, $79,000. The total is over here, $156,000. The rates are different based on how wide the alley is. So the alley at 74th Street is a 14-foot alley. They're paying the $32.94 per foot, and then the 20-foot alley, they pay $39.63 per alley. The funding, half of the funding is coming from the stormwater fund because we will put in a new storm sewer underneath the alley with an under-drain, new catch basins. That's a large part of the cost. That's a citywide fee, so that's 51%. The special assessments are 33% from the property owners adjacent, and then the general tax fund will pay the remaining 16%. Here's a typical 40-foot lot with the $32.94 per foot. The cost to a typical homeowner is $1,317. I want to point out that the bills would not be mailed out until March of 2023. So over a year from now, and the first payment, if you chose the 10-year plan, would not be till December of 2023, so almost 21 months from now. There are 3 options when you get the bill. You can pay a lump sum, you can go on the 5-year plan, or you can go on the 10-year plan. We do charge interest because we are borrowing the funds for this, and we are paying municipal bondholders interest on the bonds that we're buying. So the city is merely passing along this interest to the residents. We're not making a profit off this interest that we're charging. But for the first year, if you had a $1,317 bill, your first year payment would be $184, and then your 10th year payment would be $137 for the whole year. Why do we special assess? We have been doing it a long time. The state law gives the rationale that The people who live there have a unique benefit from this improvement in front of their property. In the old days, we did actually charge the residents 100% of the cost. In this case, as I said, the residents are paying 33% of the cost. The assessment rate is the same for all residential properties anywhere in the city, so it doesn't matter where you live. Everyone is treated equally. Like I said, it has been a state law for 110 years. There have been over 100 court cases that have upheld this method as a fair and reasonable method for recouping the costs. Special assessments are also a way to ensure that all the tax-exempt properties in the city pay their fair share. So there are tax-exempt schools, churches, charities, hospitals, county parks, utilities, even the railroads are paying their fair share as well. No one is exempt, even though there are 430 properties, which are shown here on this map in the city, that do not pay any property tax. And many of them are very large properties, like county parks, that encompass about 28% of the city that's not paying any taxes. So, and businesses, corporations, and manufacturers pay a higher rate to account for extra traffic that they may have. So they're paying $41 to $59 per foot. This is just a tentative schedule. There are 2 alleys. We're going to go to bid, start advertising for bid on May 13th. We'd have the bid opening on June 1st. We don't get to pick who the contractor is. It will be the low bidder by state law. The common council would probably award the contract on June 7th, and then hopefully the work would begin on one of the 2 alleys in July. We don't know exactly which one would go first, but each one would have its own 25 working day deadline. So you're guaranteed it would be done in 25 days, and so both alleys would hopefully be done by September. The best way to keep up to date on what's happening is to go and sign up for our construction and progress report. We'll send you an email every week. We'll give you a list of everything that's happening this week, who to call, who's the contractor, who's the inspector. All that stuff would be in this report that you would get right to your inbox at home. So I would highly recommend that you go to our website and sign up for this, and you'll be in the know all through the project. So with that, if there's any questions, I entertain those now.
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Daniels. Are there any questions on public hearing number 1 by the members of the Common Council? Hearing none, are there any questions on this public hearing by the members of the audience? Okay, then we will close public hearing number 1. And I will ask our clerk to read public hearing number 2.
Resolution adopting the vacation and discontinuance of a portion of a public right-of-way of West National Avenue and southwest of South Waukesha Road.
Thank you. Mr. Scheer, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on. Sorry. So the hearing before us this evening is to vacate or discontinue a small portion of city right-of-way southwest of Waukesha Road, north of Oklahoma Avenue and south of Cleveland Avenue and just east of 124th Street. It's a 60 by 115-foot deep parcel. It's landlocked, fully landlocked. There's no access to this property at all. It's a remnant, I think dating back to about 1973, buried in the woods. We did receive a petition from the abutting landowners, which abut the property on 3 sides, to the west, to the east, and to the south. And they petitioned the city to vacate this parcel or this piece of right-of-way, which would, if vacated, if council would vacate it, would become more or less theirs. It would be split in 2 parts in each direction, to the east and to the west, of which the applicants both own. It is not a buildable lot or piece of land as it sits right now. However, perhaps someday it could be if it were combined with other properties and proper access were provided to it and met zoning requirements. So why proceed? On February 1st, the council directed staff to proceed towards a public hearing But in terms of being a piece of city right-of-way, one of the reasons, I guess, to vacate it would be to reduce the city's ongoing maintenance liability for this section of unimproved right-of-way. It serves really no public purpose to the city, and it would become a taxable property. This is a closer view of the right-of-way. Again, 60 by 115 feet, and then the property owners around, the common property owner around the three sides of the property. So it was introduced to the council on February 1st. From there, we proceeded to notify abutting property owners, and it was published in the official paper 3 times. And Plan Commission recommended approval in January, and we're before the Common Council tonight for purposes of the public hearing. If there are any additional comments or questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this time. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation, Mr. Scher. Are there any questions from the council members on this item? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the members of the audience on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close public hearing number 2. And we will move on to item E on our agendas, which is citizen participation. The council may receive information from members of the public during this period. Each speaker must announce to the council their name and their address and sign in at the podium. We also ask that you limit your comments to one statement of no more than 5 minutes. The council cannot take action on any of these topics raised by the speakers and cannot discuss these topics with the speakers. If anybody wishes to address the council under citizen participation, please approach the podium next to the table with the good-looking guy in the mask.
Good evening. My name is Louis Kowieski, 719 South 97th Street. When I came to vote Monday, I noticed what I thought to be irregularities here. The outside deposit box was being used as a ballot box. I'll pass around 3 pictures that I took. The first one shows the sign where it says City Hall is not open till 11:30. Being that I also came early, I noticed 3 or 4 individuals with more than one absentee ballot in their hands because they're all big and they're all brown. Some of them had 2 and 3, some of them had possibly even 4 absentee ballots in their hands. And they used the depository box as a ballot box. There's been a recent Supreme Court ruling stating there will be no outside ballot boxes where there is no means to check IDs or any other IDs to make sure that those ballots are cast by that individual. When I tried on Monday to cast my wife's absentee ballot, I was told they couldn't accept it. She would have to bring it in by herself. That's when I noticed this doesn't smell right. Okay? So I called around. I called Channel 6. I called a friend of mine that's a news reporter from Channel 6. And he said he's from Germantown, and they taped over their depository box so that they couldn't be used for a ballot box on a ballot day. That way they felt they were within this ruling of the Supreme Court. I also have a picture of Oconomowoc. They taped over their depository box because they interpreted the Supreme Court ruling the same way. No outside ballot boxes. This one isn't even labeled as a ballot box, and citizens were putting in absentee ballots. I asked the assistant city clerk that day, Monday, why is she allowing this? She said, your city attorney advised her that it was legal. Okay. I even talked to the mayor for quite some time. I talked to my alderman. I think this is a bad practice. I really believe it's against the law. The city attorney does not interpret the Supreme Court ruling. he manages it and makes sure that it's followed. How can a city attorney determine that the Supreme Court was wrong? When I talked to him, he thought it wasn't clear. And his interpretation of the law was that that was an arm of the city of City Hall, that it was a ballot box. But when you look at those pictures, and I'm sure when they built the building here, and you put the plate on there, and it states what that box is used for. Nowhere does it say it's used for an absentee ballot box. This day is gone and done. But there's going to be fall elections, more important than even I feel these elections. And if this continued practice is allowed, then I guess the only other recourse is somebody's going to have to bring a lawsuit against the city of West Allis if they feel strongly enough that you are indeed breaking the Supreme Court ruling. I leave that up to your judgment because you guys are the rulers of the city. I would imagine our city attorney takes some direction from you. The city administrator takes some direction from you. And what you guys vote on, whether it's in resolution form or other form, would be the practice of the city. So if you want to just, when I leave here, blow them off, okay? But if that happens in the fall, it's not going to be pretty. I just say that because I really believe you're using that box as a ballot box. I suggested to the assistant clerk that day, put up a notice on the board like the other municipalities did, this is not a ballot box. People would walk up and walk away. I personally asked a couple of people that were putting in their absentee ballots when I was waiting out in the lot for the city hall to open, why they were using that as a ballot box. And he said he'd been putting them in there for 20 years. Well, that's bad. That is bad. Then I think you need to put some new wording on that deposit box that in no way, shape, or form is that a ballot box, and all ballots cast into the depository box would not be counted. They should not be cast.
You've got 10 seconds left of your 5 minutes.
I bring this to your attention, and I hope you will act on it. Any questions?
We can't discuss with you. That's what I said earlier.
You want my phone number? You can call.
We know where to find you. They went that way. Thank you. Does anybody else wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening? All right. Seeing none, we will close citizen participation and we will go to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. Those room numbers are listed on the top of page 2 of your agendas. Item G is the mayor's report. I just have a few things this evening I want to touch on. First thing is earlier this afternoon, Alderman Haas and I attended a ribbon cutting for Viva Beauty Bar, and I hope you can tell how great we look tonight because of our visit. Just west of Highway 100 on Lincoln Avenue, they just opened up recently, and they provide all kinds of beauty services and massage services, eyebrows, eyelashes, and things I didn't even know what they were. So rather than try to describe them, I am just going to encourage you to check out their website at Viva, which is VEVA, beautybar.com. They have a location in Bayview, and they just recently opened up a location here in West Allis. I want to take a minute to congratulate Joe Becker, Rebecca Lee, and Jeff Sikich on their election to a 3-year term on the school board. And I also want to thank Bill Ustruck for his 6 years of service on the school board. And I also want to thank the clerks and all the poll workers that worked on the election Tuesday. It was a very long day, and their work is very much appreciated. And we are going to need poll workers going forward. So if anybody is out there who is looking to learn more about being a poll worker on upcoming election days, I believe that you have to be a Milwaukee County resident. And feel free to get in touch with me or the clerk or call your alderperson, and we'll get you to the right place if you'd like to volunteer in our democratic process. And the last thing is You do get paid. It's not strict volunteer. The last thing is I do have a request from a resident, Mike Vecchio, who is most likely watching our meeting this evening, but I am asked to wish through him a very happy birthday, 91st birthday to Ella Vecchio, who also watches our meetings. I think I'm a little bit late, but happy 91st birthday. That does conclude the mayor's report this evening. Do we have any alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of March 15th, 2022 Common Council meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any changes, questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Standing committee reports, license and health, Alderman Vitale, should we just do that one after recess?
Yes, we have item 4 and item 5.
We'll do it after recess?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll move to item K.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
there's no objection from any member of the council. I will move for approval of the consent agenda as it was presented.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Haas. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Haas.
Aye.
Keen. Aye. Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
9 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 excused.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman
I
Lysick.
move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There is a motion with a second by Alderperson Reinke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in recess.